humans, my name is Dale Kingsmill, and this is the second part in our 8-week series brought to you by Immortal Conquest. If you missed the first episode, you can go ahead and click on this card up here and it'll take you to part 1, which will tell you a bunch of information about the game and about the event. Episode 1 was about the city of Delphi itself, but now we're getting into some of the characters, the mythological characters that make up the gyro cards in the game. Now within the game, there are 5 different realms that you can play with. We've got Titans, Olympus, Celtic, Egyptian, and Nordic, which is the focus of today's episode. For the next 5 episodes, beginning with this one, we'll be looking at specific heroes from each of those 5 realms, and today's is Thor, the god of thunder, because how could we not? He's the son of Odin, the All-Father, and he's a pretty big deal. He wields at all times the great hammer Mjolnir, and he drives around in a chariot pulled by 2 magical goats. Goats which every night he kills, cooks, and eats, and then the next morning he gets their bones together in a bag and he resurrects them and they come back to life and they pull his chariot all over again. Thor is the hero of so many Norse tales. One of my personal favorites is the one in which Thor wakes up to find that Mjolnir, his hammer, has been stolen by the giant Hrungnir, who refuses to return the hammer unless Thor can convince the most beautiful goddess from the Aesir, the Norse gods, Freya, to marry him. Hrungnir wants to marry Freya. Thor thinks this is a great plan. Freya, less so. She refuses to go and marry a scumbag giant, but what she does do is she lends Thor a dress and one of her signature necklaces, gives him one of her looks, so that Thor can go undercover as Hrungnir's new bride, snatching up his hammer at the last minute and dashing all the giants to pieces. Another story of Thor's exploits with, or rather against, the giants. The time he dueled Hrungnir. Odin had been out in giant country riding his 8-legged horse Sleipnir when Hrungnir appeared on his own horse and challenged Odin to a race. Let me tell you, it came down to the wire, but thankfully Sleipnir is very, very fast. Unfortunately, just as Odin ran through the gates to Asgard across the Rainbow Bridge, and Heimdall went to shut the golden gates on the giant, Hrungnir was unable to get his horse to stop, and accidentally ended up sliding through at the last minute and getting locked in with his mortal enemies. He knew he was in a pretty precarious position, but thankfully the Aesir were very kind and hospitable, and they invited him to dinner, where he got completely sloshed and started insulting everybody. So then when Thor got home and found this giant sitting in his chair and insulting all his family members, he came pretty close to killing him right then and there. It was only upon Hrungnir pointing out that he was unarmed that Thor, too noble for his own good, agreed that they would meet at a later time to fight this out like real men with real weapons. So Hrungnir had a head of stone, a heart of stone, a shield of stone, and a club of stone. Thor showed up. The fight played out like the climax to a baseball movie. Thor throws his hammer, Hrungnir prepares to whack it away with his club, but it's just too powerful a throw. Mjolnir smashes through the club, shattering it into bits and shards of flint, and the hammer continues and pummels Hrungnir in the face, taking him out lickety-split. And of course, who could forget the time that Thor and his buddy Tyr went on the most drunken, ludicrous beer run imaginable. It involved them going to Tyr's dad's house, killing his cows, destroying his home, breaking his boats, accidentally fishing up the giant sea serpent that wraps around the world, bludgeoning Tyr's father over the head with an unbreakable goblet, but hey, they got the mead out of it, so successful. Thor in mythology is just a source of endless fun, and I can only imagine he would be so in the game as well. He is a 5-star gyro card, and as it turns out, you can combine different gyro cards into combinations based on their connections within mythology and get bonuses from that. For example, you can team Thor up with a bunch of the other Asgardian gods, Tyr, Sif, Bragi, and Vidor, and boom! Bonus! I'm not gonna tell you all the combinations because I think a lot of the fun is working it out yourself, but that is such a cool little element to be included in Immortal Conquest. So try that out, see what you get. If you want any more information on Immortal Conquest or the Nerds vs Vets battle, I've got the links in the description below. And also, I'm excited to tell you that our 7th episode in this series is going to be me talking about various gyro card hero figures that you choose. So I'll put a link in the description box below where where you can go check out all the gyro cards, and then you can leave a comment telling me who you want me to talk about. Apart from that, that's it. I'm done, and I will see you some other time.